Every successful gardener needs compost. We all know that. If you want to have amazing flowers or vegetables, things such as that, you need to have compost, but it can be expensive to buy if you have to buy it and bring it in. However, if you have the ability to make your own compost, not only can you repurpose and resource all of your own old food scraps and newspapers and things such as that, you can actually turn those into basically black gold for your garden. Now what I have here is just a small demonstration. This is a compost tumbler. Okay, so very simply, you put your stuff in here, and you can see it tumbles, which mixes the compost and the stuff together. And over time, it's gonna break down and give you a nice compost source. So what I did, this is actually a year old, almost exactly 1 year old at this point. It was full completely. Some rabbit manure and cage cleanings, food scraps, some leaves, some weeds, just whatever I could find organically, just threw it in here. And I'd go through and, like I said, mentioned, I'd pass by every now and then and just kind of tumble it around a little bit. You know, you hear it moving around. Now, let's get here in close and show you what it looks like. After 1 year, you could end up with this. Now look at this. It's a little bit wet and sticky, but that's okay. It'll dry out. Also, what I did, check those guys out. Those are little worms, and they've been multiplying. So every time I was walking by and I saw a worm on the ground, or after a rainstorm, or scooping up some other compost sources, I would just throw the worms in here. Now the worms turn all this organic matter into very beautiful compost. Now some things, such as this stick, did not break down, but it's slowly decomposing. I did throw some wood chips here as an experiment. Maybe the worms would work on that, but they're pretty much, you know, non-broken down. So maybe adding wood chips is not the best idea if you don't have a very, very long time. Over time, the worms would probably break it down. But yeah, this is what happens after 1 year of essentially a worm compost system. But look at all that. I can take all this out, I can dry it out, put it in my compost containers such as that, and mix it in with potting soil and other things as I get ready to plant going forward. So is the compost tumbler right for you? Let's find out. So the benefits of compost tumblers are they take up a little bit of space. Okay, if you have like this back balcony patio area, if you don't have a full-on yard, it might be what's best for you, because you can actually use it in this little space, tumble it around, and have compost for maybe some potted plants or containers you have growing on your porch or your front steps or something if you have limited space. So a small space garden or area will be perfect for a compost tumbler. Now, if you need a massive amount of compost, like truckloads, obviously you're not going to get that from a little compost tumbler. Could you have more than one? Of course. Could you have a little bit bigger one? Absolutely. But therein lies problem or solution number two. This is actually very wet and waterlogged. And as you see, you gotta put a little bit of effort into this to kind of tumble it around. We can see how wet it is. All the moisture's kind of seeping out there like that. But yeah, this can be a little bit heavy. So if you're an elderly person or someone with, you know, you're not able to really spin this around a lot, maybe it's not right for you. Maybe you need to find a different route. But if you're able to turn it over, you know, once or twice a week, maybe every day, if you're just passing by in your daily routine, walking through your patio, it's a wonderful thing. But yeah. Sorry about that, AC kicked on, but nevertheless, here we go. Another reason to get a compost tumbler might be to save space. I mentioned that in the intro, they take a little bit of space, not a lot. Okay, so if you want a giant compost pile in your backyard, maybe you don't want that. Maybe you don't want to have to mound up your grass clippings and all your leaves and all the whatever else you might find. Have a giant pile taking up a lot of space that you have to go out there with the pitchfork. You have to turn it over so many times. You got to worry about the nitrogen and carbon ratio and all these kind of things. If that's not something you really want to fool around with, but you do want to help find a way to recycle your yard waste and eggshells and old paper towels and stuff like that, this is going to be what exactly you need. Okay, and like I mentioned, if you find some worms, throw some worms in this. They're going to love it. All the organic matter, they're going to multiply, as you saw before. All those nice worms, great, making you some nice vermicompost essentially. But Yeah, I'm happy with it. It wasn't that expensive. I got it on a clearance sale like in the fall, so I didn't pay full price. But I mean, it does make a good amount of compost. This is going to go quite a ways. But I do have, as you've seen in my other videos, and I'm sure you followed along for a long time, I have dozens of garden beds. I have flowers, I have vegetables, I have everything growing. This would not be able to satisfy the compost needs I have 100%. So if you think that you're going to be completely self-sufficient on this, you might very well be if you have just 5 or 6 little pots you grow, maybe a tomato or a cucumber or something on the patio. That'll work. But if you have gigantic gardens, it's going to be awesome. You don't want any of that stuff to go to waste. Okay, the worst thing you can do is throw out your food scraps and your cage cleanings from gerbils or hamsters or rabbits, things like that are going to be perfect for organic matter. This is a great way to recycle those and put them back wherever you may want to put them. Okay, so is a compost tumbler right for you? I say yes. It's always going to be a good answer. Always, always, always yes, because like I mentioned, you can recycle all the things, do all the good stuff with it. Is it going to be, you know, an army of compost tumblers just lined up, just cycling every single day? Impractical. Not really what you're going to do. If you need that much compost, watch my other videos about making compost, especially in big compost piles. I'll teach you how to do that. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Hope this was a little bit informative. Go buy yourself a compost tumbler. You will not be disappointed. Thanks for watching.